Welcome back to another 10-Minute Tuesday. This week, Joey and I are fresh off the trail coming back from North Dakota, and so we are just feeling a little bit like talking about walk-in hunting for this 10-Minute Tuesday. There's a lot of guys that don't have a boat and do end up doing a lot of walk-in hunting that have asked some questions. So we'll just go ahead and kind of go into it a little bit from what we do. When we were just in North Dakota, we did quite a bit of walk-in hunting. It's super fun. I mean, if you're in an area that has tons of small water or just easy access for you to get out to a lake or a slough or whatever, areas that hold a lot of birds, that's some of my favorite type of hunting, to be honest. I really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. No, I do too. But a lot of times you just can't drive into the field or drive up to the slough, and so you have to end up carrying a lot of shit.
Right.
And it can be extremely taxing if you're used to driving into the field. And so, especially if you're hunting a slough, carrying floaters, ooh, it hurts, dude, because you want to bring as many decoys as possible when you're going on a hunt because you think it's going to give you the best opportunity. But you really have to think about, okay, what do we actually need to kill birds?
Yeah.
And everyone will have a differing opinion.
Oh, yeah. Everyone has a different opinion. Me and Joey always have a different opinion of what needs to go in there. I would say one thing, too, that sucks about walking in with those decoys is once you get to the cattails or the reeds or whatever, even if you're walking through, like, brush, dude, you're going to catch all of the brush on the decoys the whole way through. Right. So you're, like, dragging, reeds or brush or whatever with you, like, the entire way.
Right.
Whenever we get into like some thick cattails, it's like, how tight can I get the group of ducks that I'm carrying? Because if you're like flopping them around behind you, oh, dude, you're going to get caught 100 times.
It's really hard. You have to, once you've done it a billion times, you have to put it straight behind you, and you have to have your gun straight behind you and your blind bag straight behind you, and that's very difficult to do. You have to take a lot of breaks.
Well, especially if you're trying to lug in like, 12 to 18 decoys a piece.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of decoys. But yeah, I always try to get mine tied up as far down as I can so they stay really together, and then, just walking with them right behind you. But, yeah, what do you think? So, like, you're going on a duck hunt. You know that there's, like, decent birds in the area. How many decoys do you, feel like you have to bring with you?
Dude, there has to be 2 to 4 dozen, And this is where you and I differ. Like, yeah. I will say, hey, let's carry as much in as possible, and you will always say, no, we don't need that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's all just like, what do I actually think makes a difference? So, like, going from, like, I think bringing in, like, 2 dozen decoys, I think that's realistic. Like, each person bringing in a dozen decoys, you probably have to. But once you get into, like, 3-4 dozen decoys, like, I just don't think going from 2 to 3 dozen in a lot of the situations makes that big of a difference. But it just depends.
I think it does.
It depends how many birds you're hunting that are using that or not, or if you're just pulling 1s and 2s. It's just kind of a situational thing, I guess.
I think it depends on the size of water that you're hunting, and then also how much comfort you want to give the birds. So, like, the more decoys you have, the more enticing it is, or the more comfortable they feel coming into it, So more is better, in my opinion, unless it's a tiny little area. Then obviously you want birds to be able to land into it. So 6 to 2 dozen, 6 decoys to 2 dozen, depending on the body of water.
Yeah, for me, like, I guess part of it is what is realistic, because there's a lot of spots where if you're walking in, maybe that body of water has like 100 birds on it, or, let's say 1,000. I mean, just depending on the situation. But if you can't get to where the 1,000 birds are or where the 100 birds are, and you're trying to shoot 1s, 2s, 3s, whatever, or you're just kind of setting up on a point, hoping for some pass shooting, like, those are situational things where you're just like, 3 dozen decoys, I don't know how much of a difference it makes right here. Like, you're tough. It just depends.
Yeah, no, I'm always going to go for more.
Right.
More is better, and if you can, it gets tough when you have more people too, so you want to bring like a panel blind or an A-frame. It's like that place, bleep this out. It's like when we go to, like, you want to just sit into the cattails, but when you have more than 3 people, you're going to get seen. And so you should bring an A-frame.
Just, it all depends on how thick the cattails are.
Well, they're never thick enough.
Standing in water or on land?
They're never thick enough. That's my thing. So if you're going and you're hunting more than 3 people, you should bring a panel blind.
My only thing with the panel blind and the cattails, dude, is sometimes I feel like when you have like 4 dudes standing like 4 or 5 feet apart, and you're in like thick cattails, I sometimes feel like that's better than if you have a panel that you put out, because then from above with the panel, everyone's together, and now you're like a black hole. You know what I mean?
No, the reason why I like the panel better is because people constantly walk in and out, and you trash your hide in the first volley of birds. Every single time. Every single time. No one just follows the same path out, whereas in an A-frame, everyone's going out of the same place, so there's less brush knocked down, so your hide is still intact.
Yeah.
That's my reasoning for it.
It just I guess it all depends. It's like, can you get 4 dudes to take one step in and not leave?
No. No, you can't.
So
it's like I don't know. And people, when they're in their own space, they make themselves more comfortable, and like they trash their hide. They trash it. And so it just, as the day goes on, the hide's gone and birds see you. So it's just one of those deals where I'm like, if we can bring it, please, let's bring it. And then also, if we wanted to go out on that point where we were this weekend, we had the panels, would have been just fine.
Yep.
But since we didn't have the panels, we had to hunt where we hunted.
Mm-hmm.
And we could have done better over there for sure.
Right.
But I mean,
and that's the decision, and that's where it becomes a decision. Like this weekend we had, what was it? How far was that?
900 yards.
Yeah. Something like that.
900-yard walk.
Just over a half mile, something like that. So when you're walking into that, and it's through cattails and marsh and brush and trees and shit, like just depending on what your walk is.
There's like 50 yards through cattails, but it wasn't bad.
No,
the main walk was through pasture land or whatever, but
it's just all like how many trips you're going to take in, Like we're walking a very realistic distance that you don't want to come back to the truck to get stuff.
Right.
So then it's just like, what can each guy carry and what's your necessity?
I mean, the best case scenario is to have a giant jet sled. That's the best case scenario. And next time I go out to North Dakota, I'm definitely bringing one. I can't not have a jet sled anymore. Can you imagine just like throwing 4 dozen decoys in a jet sled and walking all the other stuff on your back?
Yeah.
And then just pulling it around your hips?
Right.
So much easier.
Yeah, that, or even just like, have you seen those carts that are on the big rubber wheels and stuff too? Like even just one of those.
Decoy carts.
100%.
They have an electric motor on it too.
What?
Yeah.
They have an electric one now?
Nick Johnson.
Literally.
He's been using that for years, dude.
Damn, I have not seen that.
Oh, yeah. It's like a electric bike motor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the cart goes faster than you could ever go.
That's so insane.
Yeah.
When we went out, it was like on a quarter speed, was it? Because if any faster than that, it just would get away from you.
And how many could he fit in there? DSDs?
I think he had 3 dozen and 2 layouts.
Yeah. That's sick.
All individually bagged.
Yeah, we need that.
Yeah.
We need that.
Yeah. A decoy cart would probably be, but that takes up your entire truck bed too.
Yeah.
So you're not fitting anything.
For sure. Yeah.
You could disassemble it every time you go, but I don't think it's worth it. But yeah, the best case scenario is to just put it in a damn trailer and then put all your shit in the decoy cart when you're ready to hunt. If you have to walk in and Bob's your uncle.
Yeah.
That'd be so nice. What do those cost, do you know?
I did not know. They were. I think he said they were pretty spendy, but he made a lot of adjustments to it too.
Right. No, he definitely did.
But like a jet, so anyway, I think you're right though, just to the basic necessity of it, a jet sled is like imperative.
Whatever you're not carrying with your hands, like carrying a dozen decoys, like we made that video. Oops. We made a video on how to tie up your decoys and hang them without having any memory and not have them hang down 6 feet because all of our lines are 6 foot.
Yeah.
But carry them like that, and then they're hitting like your butt. But when you're carrying 12 decoys like this over your shoulder, your hand just gets raw, and especially if it's cold out. Good
brutal.
night. Good night, dude.
Yeah, brutal.
But obviously that's walking in on public land in the Midwest, obviously there's different ways of doing the timber because you're in water.
Right.
So if you have a jet sled in water, pretty nice, but you'll get hung up on trees and all that stuff. And I haven't walked in a whole lot on public land timber hunting, so I don't know shit.
Yeah, like none, pretty much so. But that said, it's just about making the decisions about what you absolutely need and then how much each guy can carry and then go for a walk. Get in there, bud.
On Decoy Cart's website, it says there's 1 million backs saved, 41 states and provinces it's sold in, and 200 satisfied customers.
Nice.
Pretty slick.
Yeah.
Pretty slick. They have an amphibious one.
Oh.
Oh, my. It doesn't give me a price, though.
Oh. I might have to look into that. All right. Any other tips before we close this up, Joe?
No, I think that's good.
Okay. Yeah, just pare down with what you need. Get a backpack for your blind bag. That's one I would say. But really quick before we pull out of here, backpack blind bag, that can help a lot, or at least one that has a good shoulder strap on it. Get your gun with a strap on it or bring it out in a case that's light and that you can carry easily.
They're $700, dude. Electric powered honker hauler.
It's not bad.
$700. I would do that.
Yeah.
I'd buy that instantly. So,
all right, well, there you go. Jet sled, black backpack blind bag,
decoy cart, and then just figure out what you need.
Yeah.
To bring out there.
What do you need?
What you need, bruh. Always need more.
Changes every time. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll talk to you soon.